wrapping is really fun. It can be super complicated. Like it can be amazingly intricate and complicated and really take a ton of practice, a ton of just working with wire to figure it out. But it can also be really simple and elegant. And so that's what I want to work with today. Is I want to show you a couple pretty simple wire wrapping techniques that make really pretty jewelry, kind of like boutique jewelry. I always love boutique jewelry. I always use that term because to me, it kind of inspires this thought of kind of like artisan pieces that you go into a shop and go, ooh, I want that. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So I'm gonna show you real quick. We are gonna be making this bracelet. So I love these bracelets. If you're not familiar with them, they're super cool. They are a slider. So this little piece right here slides to adjust so it stays on your wrist. So that's a really cool piece. Hello, Kat and Michelle and Monty. Hello, it's good to see everybody. And Julie from St. Louis, hello. And then we're also gonna do a focal, and I have this focal already done, and this is with wire. Now the beauty of the wire is that that spiral is gonna hold its shape. So that's one of the things that we love about wire is it really allows the pieces to kind of have more of a structure to them and more of a body to them. So we're going to be doing that as well. So I'll show you those two different techniques, how to do like a spiral wire and how to do the wrapped wire loops to make like a little chain focal for the bracelet. And just a quick note, we are live here. It is Wednesday morning towards the end of January. This is the last Wednesday in January. If you are here on artbeads.com, you're watching this, I can see your comments. So that is one of the beautiful things about being here on the website. Welcome. If you're on one of our other platforms too, welcome. Thank you for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Just a quick note that I can't see your comments in real time though, but there is a link in the description of your video. If you have a question, click on that link, hop over to Artbeads, and then type in the question there and I can answer it. So we always have fun designing together. All right, hello Bonnie B and Susan. Hello guys. Let's start looking at what we're gonna play with today. All right, here we go. Let me put this down. And Tina's here. Hello, happy Wednesday to you as well. Okay, guys, this is fun. So here we go. So we have this bracelet that we're gonna make. So we're gonna make this bracelet right here. And what we're gonna do is we're also going to make a necklace focal. I have a smaller version. I'm gonna see if it works on the smaller one. These are Zola Elements, these kind of arch pieces right here. So I'm gonna see if it works to do the spiral on the smaller one as well. If not, I'll take this off and I'll teach you how to do it onto the larger base as well. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little cheat. It's kind of one of my favorite jewelry making hacks where we take a pre-made finished chain necklace with the clasp already secure and attached. We're gonna cut it and we're gonna connect it here to our main focal. So we're gonna do that. For the slider bracelet, we're gonna be using this. This is a unfinished slider bracelet base, which is really, really cool. So it has that slider bead already on there. It moves around. Here we go. And then it's got right here up top, it has a couple little jump rings that you're gonna be able to attach whatever focal you want to it. For ours, we're gonna be using Amazonite gemstone beads, and we're gonna create little wrapped wire loops. And then at the base, it also has little jump rings to connect dangles to as well. So pretty neat little piece right there. And if anyone wants to learn more about what I'm working with, remember there's that little shopping bag icon on your screen. You just click on that and it shows you everything all at once. So you can look at measurements. You don't have to wait for me to talk about them too, which is kind of fun. Okay. Oh, and Michelle is saying, I predict our tools will sell out since we have 20% off tools and wire sale going. Okay, really good reminder. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, so we're going to be using wire in the show, and it is on sale right now at Artbeads if you're watching this live. We have 24 gauge silver and 24 gauge gold. And then speaking of tools, we're going to do our normal tools that we use for most every show. The wire looping pliers right here. We have this pair of chain nose, which is a little bit of a more substantial chain nose. This is the Wubbers. Then we have our fine chain nose, which is the Xuron. And then we've got a pair of cutters to cut that wire. So those are the tools, and like Michelle said, it's a really great time to get them because they are on sale right now. And hello, Laura, to you as well. So fun to see familiar names. I always want to say faces, but maybe someday we'll be able to see faces. That would be really fun. Okay, so for our gemstones that we're going to be using, I already cut the strand because I've been using some of them, but these are amazonite, and you see that they've got some color variation in them, which I love. It makes it look very organic and natural and earthy, which is great. I have some beads as well. So I have some demi-rounds, which are like kind of like squished donut-y seed beads. Is kind of, I think, the best way to describe them. Hello, Ellen. I have Prestige Crystal Bicone Blend. And this one, I'll need Michelle to remind me of the name, but I think it's like a beachy name. It's, oh, Sandy Beaches. Okay. The label had rubbed off on mine. But these are really pretty because you get assorted colors that are all nice and they match and they coordinate. So we're going to be using this bicone blend. There are other ones as well. So there's a bunch to actually choose from if this is maybe not your color palette. But I did love how the amazonite and these beads went together. I thought that was really nice. And Michelle's saying it's one of her favorite blends. Yeah, I love this one. It's so fresh and cheerful and bright, yet still kind of subtle and subdued. So this is one of my favorites. But I loved how the amazonite went with this. And then we're going to be using this Toho round seed bead. This is I'm going to get this name right. Golden fleece. Okay, so this is galvanized golden fleece. So it's not quite as bright as like a crystal starlight. If you use a lot of the Toho Crystal Starlight, I think that's probably the most common one I know people use. It's definitely more of like a really bright gold. This one takes it down just a notch, and I love it. So this is a bead I like to use a lot. And then I just brought this out. I didn't know if I was going to play with it or not, but it was kind of going with the whole mix because I was like, oh, it looks like bubbles from the sea. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll use it too. So we'll kind of decide as we go if we want to use it. And then I just have some headbands as well. And remember, all that stuff is in that shopping bag, so you don't have to wait for me to talk about it. Okay, let's design, guys. I want to start with the bracelet. So here is our sample piece. And we're going to do 5 links. And I'm going to do it in silver. So this is what it looks like in gold. And we're going to do it together in silver. And then down at the base, you see that I did these little dangles right here. So I ended up combining the gemstones with the crystals. And I thought that that was really pretty. So you can kind of do whatever you want down there, but I thought that was nice. So let's start with the main focal part. And what we're going to do is 5 different links. Okay. So I'm going to just go right here. I'm going to lay this out. We're going to come back to this in a couple minutes. But we're going to take our pretty amazonite beads and Ellen, I see your question about what does galvanized mean. I'm going to let Michelle answer that one. I have an idea. I feel like it's like a kind of almost like a coating finish, like a metallic, like a certain coating type, because I know all the galvanized pieces have like a metallic shine to them, but I'm wondering if Michelle has a more technical answer, because that's just my observation from what I know about the different galvanized Toho beads I've seen. But that's a great question, and maybe Michelle has more of a technical answer about that. Okay, my trick is for getting the tube caps off is I like to take my chain nose plier and I go like this, and it pulls those caps off really nicely and easily, so you don't kind of have to scrunch your fingernails. So I'm just going to put some of these little demi-rounds down. And these are a little larger. These are the size 8 demi-rounds. So you might be familiar with the size 11s, but these are the size 8s. And we got our pretty little gemstones. And now we're going to take our artistic wire, and we're just going to cut a 3-inch length. If I can find where the end is here. Oh, hello, Santa Barbara girl. Good morning. Okay, so we're going to start with about 3 inches here. We're just going to cut it off. And we're going to make ourselves a wrapped wire loop to start with. So we're just going to go down about 1 inch. And we're gonna make a little kink with our pliers, just like that. Push it down, rotate the pliers up to top. And as always, you could do this with round nose. I prefer wire looping, but you can definitely do it with round nose as well. And we're just gonna grab this and go around a couple times. Okay, so we did some wrappings in there. Hello, Robin. Okay, and we're gonna trim our wire. And then especially since this is a bracelet, it's gonna be on your wrist, tuck that wire tail. So to tuck it, I'm just going like this. I'm just squeezing it. And basically that squishes that wire end into the other wrappings, tucks it away so it doesn't scratch your wrist. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pick up one demi round on my newly formed eye pin, basically. And then I'm gonna pick up an amazonite and another demi round. So this is what I've got on there. And now I'm just gonna create another wrapped wire loop on the other side. So this is really our starting row here. So just a little bit of a gap there to allow for when I squeeze. There we go, and allow for an area for some wrappings. So on this one, we're gonna go ahead and do all the wrappings here too. Okay, trim it. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's do another one. So another 3 inches. And you could make a necklace like this too. This is basically building your own gemstone chain is what we're doing here. It's really simple wire wrapping, but it's very pretty and elegant, and it adapts to a lot of different projects. Okay, so here on this one, we're gonna do the same as we did before. But on the next wire wrapped loop on the other side, we're gonna do something a little different. So just make our wrappings. Tuck it in. Okay, and you could vary this up. You could put crystals on either side of these. I was just choosing the little demi rounds. I just thought that they were really pretty, and I like that little darker contrast. But you could definitely put crystals, whatever you want, on either side of these. And so here we're going to go ahead and grab our wire, do the same thing as before. Oh, thank you, Santa Barbara girl. And a happy Wednesday to you too. I can't believe the week is half over. I must say, I'm kind of glad. It was one of those weeks that seemed to have a ton of appointments. And I'm just very thankful when all of them will be done, and then can just relax on the weekend. Okay, so if you notice, because I wasn't talking through that, I took my loop, I kind of opened it up just slightly, and then my completed link, I just slid down the length of the wire and let it go into the other loop. And what's nice here is because this is a bracelet and you're going to be kind of sliding it on and off your wrist, we're doing this entirely with wrapped wire loops, which are very secure. So they really shouldn't pull out of shape. They shouldn't become disconnected. So it's a really nice, strong, secure method here to do wrapped wire loops. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple more, and we're gonna do a total of 5, but we need to connect the 2 end ones to the actual bracelet base itself. So I'll show you how to do that too. So we're gonna do one more essentially the way we did the last one, and then the last 2 will be a little bit different on how we do them. Hump day, yes, hump day, hump day. I long for a week, some week without appointments or things that have to get done. I don't know about you guys, but it just seems like sometimes it's crazy. Okay, here we go. Okay, and so again, another amazonite. And I love the color of these gemstone beads. And the holes are really nice too. So I will say the holes on this strand are really lovely. And if you've worked with gemstones before, you know that that is not always the case. So it does make a difference to know that you've got nice, clean drilled holes. Oh, hello, Eric. Eric's just joining us. And for others who are just joining us, we are doing really nice, easy wire wrapping techniques to make beautiful jewelry. So we're combining gemstones and crystals and wire. And then right now, all the wire and the tools are also on sale over at Art Beads. If you're watching this live, right now we're having a great sale too. Okay, so there we go. We just did that link. So that one was done the same way as before. And on the next one, so we've done 3 that are just kind of standalone here, where they're just a separate chain essentially. So the next one we need to connect to one side of the bracelet. So here again, for those of you who are just joining us, we are making this bracelet, but in silver. So we got the wire wrap gemstones up top and then the gemstone and crystal dangles. And this is a slider bracelet. So this is how it adjusts to your wrist and it stays nice and secure. Okay, so let's go ahead. We've got another one to do, and this is the one I always have to remember that I'm going to switch the technique on how I attach this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make a loop, but then I need to right away attach this to the chain we've already made. There we go. So that one just linked right in there. And then we're going to make our wrappings so that this one is really secure and connected. Okay, same as before, just trim that little excess wire. And we're going to string on our beads. Okay, so here we go. So we've got that now. And now what we're going to do is on this one, we need to connect it to one side of our bracelet. So we're going to make that loop just like so. Open it up, just same as before. And now we're going to go to our bracelet. Now I want to look at the structure of the bracelet, guys. Okay, so you've got this slider in the middle. And then you've got this side here with like basically a finished bead cap end and a jump ring. And then you've got on this side the same thing, except for this one seems caught right here. There we go. Okay, so looking at this, I was trying to see if there was a right and wrong side because I wanted to I didn't know if one side specifically was supposed to connect to the bracelet focal and one side was supposed to be the dangles. And to me, they look identical. I don't really see a difference in them. So just go ahead and pick whichever side you want. And these are actually open jump rings as well. So if you are doing something and you want to connect a link or a charm or something that you need to open up these jump rings, you sure can. Okay. So what we're going to do though is we need to connect this to the jump ring. So we could have made this whole chain and opened up those jump rings, or you can connect it like this to start with to kind of save a little bit of a step later on. But I always like to kind of share the possibilities to make life a little bit easier. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and squeeze that down and do our wrappings. Okay, and trim that wire, tuck that tail, and now we've got 4 links. And we are attached to one side of the bracelet. So when you go over to attach to the other side, make sure that you grab the one that is coming out of the slider bead in the same, I guess the same direction. So you wouldn't want to grab you don't want to accidentally grab this one and this one. You see how that's not going to work? So you want to make sure that you've got 2 long strands together hanging down, and then you've got this one. So we're going to do one more link. And then the focal to our bracelet will be done. And if anyone came in a little bit late, all of these videos are saved, they're archived, they're over there at artbeads.com/live. So you can just see them there. You can also share them. There's a little share icon with a little arrow, so you can do that too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to slide this one on too, because it's going to be the same connection method. Oh, hello, Blue Girl. Thank you for joining us. We're doing wire wrapped jewelry today, really a necklace and a bracelet. So a couple different pieces. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're ready to add our last little section of beads. So we'll do, again, that little demi round. And what I like about the demi round is it almost looks more like a spacer bead than a seed bead. So you get a ton of them in a tube, and then they're really multi-purpose. So here we go. And it's fun to see this in silver and gold, since we did the other one in gold. Okay, here we go. And then this one, same thing. We can't finish our wrappings until we connect it to our bracelet. So here we go. Here's our bracelet side. Just going to take this up here, that other jump ring, and slide it on as well. Close it on up and make your wrappings, and then our focal is done. And you could do this with any gemstone bead. You could do this with crystals. You can just imagine the possibilities. So that's basic wire wrapping technique and this basic bracelet base, you could do so many different things with. So pick your birthstone, pick a loved one's birthstone. But there is the focal of our bracelet. So that is the main focal right there. Oh, I love that, Jean Marie. Amazonite is supposedly holding beneficial properties for the heart. Perfect for, how appropriate for Valentine's Day. I love it. I didn't know that. I love it when we learn something new. Okay, so there's our focal. And thank you guys for the hearts. I see all those floating hearts. So that's wonderful that you guys like this. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to make the little dangles. And for me, the dangles serve two purposes. One, I think they're super pretty. But two, if you look at how this is made, I feel like that slider bead, which is really key to this whole design, would slide right off if we didn't put something like a little bit bigger down at the base to stop it. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, Laura, pretty and not complicated. See, that's what I agree. I agree. It's not that hard to do this at all, but I think the effect is really pretty. Okay, so let's go back to our gold sample because I am doing this just the same bracelet, but in silver. So if you look at the gold sample, I did 2 dangles from each. And so I did if you look at this, I'll try to separate it out. We have the gemstone bead, the demi round, and a crystal. And I did do, if you look at this mix here, it does have kind of a golden crystal in it, like a crystal golden shadow. So maybe I'll do a little different crystal because I'm doing silver. But let's go ahead and spread out our crystals. And you get an entire tube of crystals. So this is what's left of my tube after I already made this sample. And I think I'd use some for another project too. So you're going to get a lot. Okay, so we're going to take a head pin. And we're going to put on it a crystal. So I don't know, I like this white one. There's a really pretty, like kind of milky white crystal. And then I'm going to take a demi round and then a gemstone. Just like so. So you got that little, well, you know what? Now that I'm looking at, no, I like the white. I was going to change my mind and say I wanted more sparkle, but the white is pretty. It's still got some sparkle. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're just going to, again, we're doing all wrapped wire loops for this project. So we'll just do this and we're going to put it on to this jump ring right here. Slide that down and get into that little crease so that that is connected. Oh, that's a great question. Do we have the partially finished chain in necklace sizes? I don't know if we do. I'm going to have Michelle look that up. I definitely want it if we don't have it because that would be really cool. I'm going to show you how to take a finished chain necklace and cut it apart to do our focal over here because that's one of my favorite tricks. But I love these slider beads too. Okay, so we just made a wrapped wire loop right there. Tuck it in. And then I wanted just a little crystal as well for extra sparkle. So then let's go ahead and do another eye pin, and then I'm gonna do this blue. This is kind of like a medium turquoisey blue right there. Oh, thank you, Bonnie. I really like these colors too. These are my colors. I think these colors are so fun, and they're just very elegant. Okay, so same thing. Just make our little loop. Okay, notch it out a little bit so you've got that little gap in there, which is what we need to be able to slide this on to that jump ring. And this jump ring is an open jump ring down here too. So if you're like, I don't want to deal with this, you know, opening it up, sliding it on, you just want to make your loops and then open up that jump ring and slide it on that way, that works too as well. Oh, thank you, Marie. Okay, so there's one side. So you see we've got that pretty dangle on one side now. Now we're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side, but you can vary. If you want different crystals, so you got more color happening down there, like maybe instead of the white, I'm going to go ahead and just grab, there's an even lighter turquoise in this mix. I think I'll grab that one. So this is a really, really pale turquoise. And then I'm going to do the demi round, kind of like, it's almost like an anchor, because it's that nice spacer bead and gives us a little bit of darkness down there, a little bit of weight. And then let's go ahead and make our loop. And these are wire looping pliers. For those who have seen my shows before, you know I am the biggest wire looping fan. If you haven't seen them, they are really cool pliers, and they're called wire looping pliers. Definitely my favorite tool. Okay, so made some loops right there. We'll remember to pick up that piece of wire that just went flying. And then one more dangle, and then we are done. I'm going to do the darkest color because I feel like I've used almost all the colors in here. So there's that really pretty, rich, dark turquoise. Looks great with silver as well. And then open this one up, slide it onto that jump ring. There we go. And we're almost done. This is the final step to this bracelet. Good, Marie. I know I can't live without them either. I can't. I have to. So there's been a couple times where I've had to use round nose again, and I seriously have to practice using them because I'm so familiar with the wire looping now that my brain just goes right to these guys, and I have kind of like stopped using the round nose. All right. Oh, hello, Ruby. Okay, guys, we're done. So here is this bracelet, and for anyone joining us late, you could always go back and watch the replay, but we just made this adjustable slider bracelet. And then see, we've got this as our focal. So we made a link of gemstones and those demi rounds. So that is fun. Oh, and then Gail is saying you plan to do this with finished chain. Oh, okay. Like you're planning for a necklace, so you don't wear bracelets. Yeah, I get that too. I actually don't usually wear bracelets myself, but I do love this one. I tend to be a necklace earring person. Okay, so let's look at the gold and the silver, because I think that these exact same beads look great in both. So there is the gold and there is the silver. So really pretty, really easy. You guys could see that didn't take long. Maybe took what, 20 minutes, 25 minutes from start to finish. I didn't have anything pre-made for this. The bracelet form itself comes pre-made. So it didn't take long, and pretty fun and easy project that looks, I think, really elegant. Okay, so thank you guys. I'm glad you liked it. I'm seeing all the hearts and the comments, and I love it. Okay, I'm glad you guys liked this one. Okay, so that is our gemstone wire wrapped bracelet. I'm going to put it aside because then I wanted to do something else too. I wanted to try some other kind of fun technique with wire that isn't too complicated either. All right, so this is a Zola Elements form, And this is too, they come in a couple different sizes. So there is a smaller one and then there's the larger one. So basically what I did, you're going to see this and we're going to do it together, is I wire wrapped the same wire. So this is again the 24 gauge wire and we're going to do it in gold. And I just wire wrapped it about 7 times around the top to anchor it. And then I just beaded the wire and spiraled it. So I'm going to see if it's going to work with the smaller one. I don't know what effect it's going to give us because this is so much smaller, but let's try it. Okay, so you're going to take off a good amount of wire. For this, I'm going to do about 20 inches. For the smaller one, I think I had about 35 inches for the larger one, just to make sure that I had enough. This is probably actually more like 16, 18. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay the wire down against the top side of the focal element. And now, because it's an open top, this is really easy. So again, this is why I kind of picked it, because I was looking for easy wire techniques. Okay, so we're just going to spiral it around. And I want to do it, like I said, about 6, 7 times, just so that that is really secure and not going anywhere. Okay, so we've got that right there, and we can always scoot it up towards the end. Okay, now we're just going to take these pretty golden fleece. Is that right? Did I say that right? Golden fleece, yes. Okay, I'm going to get this cap off again. Put these down here. I love that color. It is kind of muted. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to pick up a seed bead, a crystal, a seed bead, a crystal, a seed bead, a crystal. So that's going to be our pattern. And you can then take this focal too if you wanted. This focal could be an earring. This focal could be a bracelet. Lots of things you can do with it too. Okay, so we're going to start with a seed bead and then a crystal. And I'm just basically stringing them onto my wire. And I have too much wire here. I can already tell. I must have been thinking about something else when I said how much wire you needed. I don't think this is going to work with half round. I would be a little concerned about getting the little 11-0 seed beads through, but I'm always one for experimenting. So if you have some half round at home and you have a tube of seed beads, go ahead and give it a try. I just can't guarantee, since I haven't done it personally. I don't want to say for sure, but great question. Okay, and I can tell, guys, I have a little kink in my wire. I'm sure you guys have gotten this before. So I'm going to see if probably be quicker just to take these beads off and cut out that kink, since I know I have extra wire, but I'm just going to see if I can flatten it. Yep, okay, but now I'm going to cut that off since I know I have too much. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, guys, so my wire wrapping came off. This will be solved once we attach the necklace component to it, but right now that just slid off when I was doing the other thing. So we're just going to slide that back on. So if you see right here, there is a hole. Once we put something through that hole and attach our chain, we're not going to have to worry about the wire slipping off. Okay, so let me go back, and then we need another seed bead, another crystal, another seed bead, a crystal, seed bead. I'm trying to kind of follow the pattern that I did before. It was almost like an ombre where I went from dark to light. Let those guys slide down. And then let me put, okay. And I'm going to see how this is going to look here in just a second, because this is a smaller focal than the other one I did. And like I said, I wasn't quite sure how it would look, but we're going to give it a try. Okay, let those guys slide down to the base. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take it with the wire and wrap it around. Now you can do tighter wraps, you could do looser wraps. Oh, I think this will work still. Okay, so see what we've got so far? So we're spiraling that around the focal to add extra sparkle and drama and crystals. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to keep going, and I'm just going to repeat my pattern of going from dark to light. I only need probably another spiral or two to finish this design. And then we're gonna use a finished chain necklace to go ahead and be the chain part of our design. Okay, so let's put those guys down. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna spiral it, and the wire is gonna hold its shape, which is nice. Okay, so this is what we're getting. And we need a few more beads. Here we go. So this one is a little bit of a smaller, more subtle design than the larger one. So this would be more of a dramatic statement piece, and this one is a little bit more, just a little more on the subtle side. Okay, and then we're gonna keep going, and I just need probably, I don't even know if I need a full sequence here. Let me just see what like 2 beads will look like. And always ending, for me, at least for my pattern, I'm ending in a jump ring. Or not jump ring, oh my gosh, a seed bead. Okay, so that's good. I can't really fit more than that. Okay, so I've got that spiraled around there. And now, actually I'm gonna take off the last one. That's just not enough room to make my wrappings. Okay, now I'm gonna do my wrappings, same as before. I'm gonna go around and around. I wanna do it about 7 times. 5, 6, 7, okay. So this is now our necklace focal. Now we're going to trim our wire tails. Okay. And on this one, I definitely want to make sure, because that slid off, I want to make sure that my hole is exposed so I can attach something to it. Okay. Take this, trim it, tuck it, squish that wire in there. Same thing over here, because you don't want that to snag on your skin or your clothing or your sweater. Always make sure that our wire tails are just tucked in and pressed. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're gonna add our chain to this. So really easy. Okay, my favorite, I think I talked about this at the very beginning. I do this all the time. So when I first started making jewelry, I did not pay attention to the construction of it as much. I was just having fun making jewelry. And I must say, I don't think all my jump rings were closed properly. I don't think all of my clasps were attached as well as they should have been. And so that's kind of stuck with me now, like how important it is that like the structure is sound, that your jewelry is not going to fall apart or break. So I love using finished chain necklaces and then turning them into more elaborate designs, because I know that this whole clasp section is super secure. So that's kind of the reasoning behind why I do this. It saves time, for one, because you're not buying cut chain, buying jump rings, buying the lobster clasp, buying the other little section. So it kind of saves some time and money, I think, if you do it this way, but also you know it's going to be really, really secure. So this is kind of just something that I've kept with me all these years and I just really like to do. So you're going to take it, you're going to hold it by the clasp set, you're going to run it down, and you're going to find the middle. So we just want to find the middle, and we're just going to cut it. We're just going to take our cutter and cut it. So now we have essentially 2 lengths on either side of your clasp. This is now kind of open, and you can attach anything to this. So we could attach our big focal to this. We could attach our little focal to this. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the little one, because I think for me, I would probably wear the little one a little bit more. And then I want to connect it with a bead segment. That's another beauty. When you do this, you can add beads to it. So let's go ahead and take, actually this is some gold wire right here that was left over. I'm gonna make it like a 3-inch section. Here we go. And we're gonna do what we did before with that bracelet. So same basic thing. We're gonna start and make ourselves a wrapped wire loop. But in this case, before I make my wrappings, I'm just gonna attach the length of one side of the chain. So it's got a little chain link right there. Gonna slide that chain link on so it's nice and secure. And again, if we're looking at trying to make something really structurally sound that won't fall apart, this is a good technique because that is linked in there and we're doing wire wraps, so you know it's not going to come apart. I think there's always a thought with jump rings and simple wire loops like, oh, did I get it closed enough? Is it going to fall apart? This is a really nice way of making sure it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick up 3 beads. And you could always cut down this chain too. If you wanted a shorter necklace, cut down the chain, equal lengths on either side, and then use that leftover chain for earrings or something else on another project. Don't ever toss chain bits. Always needed. Okay, so I'm going to pick up 3 crystals, put them on my wire. Okay, now I feel like I want a little bit of a bigger loop to go ahead and be able to easily get this piece on. So I'm going to use the same wire looping pliers. It's just instead of doing it right at the tip, I'm going to go back a little bit just to make a slightly larger one. Not too much, but I just feel like I want to make life a little easier for myself. So you see how I'm not quite at the tip? I'm a little bit set back. And this is just going to make a little bit bigger loop. So you see there how we have a little bit of a larger loop? So the crystals are 4mm bicones. Great question. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll take this, and if I can see, so you see how that went through there? Okay, and then I'm going to wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. And that is now in that loop as well. And those crystal blends come in a ton of colors. I know Michelle can probably post a link. They're a really good value and they're really fun to have like a color coordinated palette to work with. Okay, so I just did some more wrappings. Gonna trim my wire. Tuck it in. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side and then we will be done with this necklace. So same exact process on the other side. Let's grab a new piece of wire though. I'm just going to kind of straighten it out a little bit. Okay, same thing. Yeah, I do too, Marie. I love the... I like the blends as well. I feel like they inspire projects because you already have a really nice color palette to start with, and then it makes it easier, I think, to design. Okay, so same thing. We need to slip in the last little chain link on the other side of our necklace right here into that loop before we do our wrappings. This is just my eyes trying to see it. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, there we are. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Added some other blends to the shopping bag. Okay. And then for those of you who are just, who joined us a little bit late, we are actually at Art Beads having a wire and tool sale right now if you're watching this live. And so this is a good time to pick up some wire and tools if this is like the type of projects you want to do and need some new tools or wire. Okay. And then here we go. And same thing. So because I want it to match the other side, I'm going to remember what I did for my bead sequence. Again, I kind of did like an ombre here. So I'm going to do the lighter turquoise first, then the medium turquoise, and then the dark turquoise. That'll give us that ombre feel. Okay. And now, same thing as before, and this is the very last step. So I'm going to remember to go a little bit larger on this hole, or not hole, yeah, I guess hole loop. Okay, go a little bit larger on the loop, just by going back a little bit on my pliers. So now that loop is just a little bit more forgiving if you're slipping something larger onto it, okay? So now let's grab the other side of our necklace, and we're going to slip this on. Like so, so it links in there as well. And do our wrappings. And then we're done. Then we just trim our tail and we are done. And we made 2 complete pieces of jewelry in about 45 minutes. So that's pretty good. All right, and I think it helped a lot to have the pre-made chain and to have the pre-made bracelets as well. All right, guys, this is what it looks like. So there is our finished wire-wrapped necklace using those pretty bicones. And then if you wanted to, just remember you could have done it with the larger piece as well. Would have been the exact same technique. You just would have done it here on the larger piece to kind of get an idea of what that would look like. Or, oh my gosh, or what if you layered them? What if you had 2 finished chain necklaces and this was like a layered necklace design? That could be really cool too. That would look neat. I wonder if I can lay that down and we could see what that might look like. So you could do like the smaller one in top, and then this one right here, you could do 2, and then 2 chains as well. So lots and lots of possibilities. All right, guys, I am going to flip the camera up real quick so I can say goodbye, but let's look at these guys up close again real quick. These are the bracelets with that slider. So you just basically slide it to get it on. You just slide it wider. And then once it's on, you just slide it up towards your wrist. So, oh, thank you guys. All right, so let me put the camera up real quick, and I'm going to put that one necklace against me so you can see what it would look like on. I think my shirt works well for it today too. Oh, I love all the hearts. Thank you. All right, perfect. Okay, guys, so real quick, here are the 2 bracelets. I know sometimes it's a little easier to see on this camera here when it's facing this way with all those pretty dangles. Oh, thank you, Santa Barbara girl. And Laura, thank you. Sue, thank you guys. It's fun. We have fun together. And I love all the feedback and the ideas in the comments. Okay, and then this is the necklace. So let me see. Okay, so the necklace, let's see if I can point this down a little bit better. Okay, so the necklace you could definitely wear longer or shorter, and it's got that nice sparkle to it. So you have not this one here. You just do that. So you could do a lot of different things. That longer one could hang lower, which would be really pretty. So that's nice. And then Robin's asking, where is the slider in the shop? So it should be in the shopping bag. It comes complete with the bracelets. So the bracelets, for those of you who joined us a little bit later, this essentially is what you get. You get the 2 chain strands attached with that slider in the middle. And then they already come with jump rings on either side. So it's really easy to just attach focals to them, attach little dangles, lots of different things you can do with them. But that's a great question. And then Michelle is saying she will put the banner up for them. Perfect. So she put the little banner up so you can click on that. They do come in silver and gold, and they're really a nice silver and a nice gold, I'll say. You know, sometimes a silver and a gold can kind of vary. These are a really nice silver and gold. But those are fun. And I know Michelle gave us a good reminder. If you have anything in your shopping bag, make sure to check out, make sure you get them. I know we didn't start with a huge quantity of the slider bracelets to begin with. And I know gemstones always tend to have a limited quantity just because they're gemstones. So make sure to check out if you have items in your cart. Oh, they are sold out, says Cindy. Okay, so they did sell out. There is a way of getting an out-of-stock notifier for them. So as soon as we get them back in stock, you will get notified. I know if you click on the product itself and you go into its actual product page on Art Beads, you can sign up to be emailed as soon as they come back in stock, and that way you get first dibs, kind of. So it's like as soon as they're back in the shop, then you can grab them. So that's always a nice handy tool, and it works really, really well. But this was fun, guys. I had so much fun doing these. I love simple wire wrapping. I think complicated wire wrapping is amazing, and I have tried my hand at it, and I can do a little bit, but I love simple wire wrapping. I like how we can make a necklace and a bracelet just in under an hour, and it looks really nice, and it's very secure and structurally sound, and I love using the chain necklace and the partially finished bracelets because that makes it really easy. So. But thank you, Cindy and Robin and Laura. And Santa Barbara Girl and everyone else, thank you guys for joining me. I am here every single Wednesday at Art Beads at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we have fun and we design together. So have a great rest of the week, a great rest of your January, and I will see you in February. All right.